Okay, today we are going to learn how to do quillwork edging, and you can use many different things to wrap your edging around. A lot of people use a nice even thin strip of brain tan. I have used a lot of like a heavy linen cord, but it's whatever you prefer. Here's like a heavy linen cord versus brain tan. These are usually the two items that I use. Today I'm using the brain tan, and the first step is to take your thread and put beeswax on the thread all the way through. You want to do that. Then after that is done, you want to secure whatever you are wrapping your quills around for your edging to your starting point. It can be at the bottom, or it can also be at any corner, wherever you prefer to start and finish. Okay, we'll get a nice secure knot in that. And then I'm preferring the bottom, which I usually it's right here, but I prefer the bottom today because I am going to use the brain tan to try to give it a larger wrap, because all this person wanted was just edging, nothing else. So you go ahead and there, I usually like to leave enough to put a cone on, and this is where I'll be finishing also. Go ahead and secure that by sewing that down firmly. Put a couple wraps on that. Okay, now we're ready to start a quill. Okay. Like I said, this is all white. You want to have your clean soaked quills. Soak them for at least, I'd say at least a half an hour. Now on the wrap, I like to use more of a larger quill. And just put the tip through. This is just to get started. Sew it down securely. And since I don't have a good grip, sometimes I use pliers. Go ahead and sew that down. Okay. Now it's secure. Now you start your wrapping process. I like to hold the thread with my left hand, pull it taut. I like to push down the quill tip so I don't get poked. And then take it underneath whatever you're wrapping it around, underneath, then flip it over. Okay, that's going to give you your first little bend, or later it'll have a nice little point. Now come from behind. This is a crucial part. Behind, and then come underneath the quill pull it snugly. Then go over top of it, and you want to keep it back away from the edge. I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. Push it to the back. I should have cut that off. Pull it snug. You might have to tuck it back a little bit to make sure it's nice and tight. Now, that's your first. Now you do the same. You go then, after you've sewn that down, go under, swing it over the top, and see there you're starting to form your nice little pretty edging. Now again, you're behind, so you want to come up underneath your edging, underneath the quill, pull it through. Be careful not to lay it on top of any of the points over here, or it's going to just make it sloppy. Come down about 1/8 of an inch, go through to the front, or that would be the back. Pull tightly. I really need to trim that out of the way. Pull nice and tight. Now you're headed for your second one. Under and over. Now at this point, so you don't have to fight with little ends. Once again, let's see. Underneath your leather or your linen, underneath the tip of the quill. And we'll go ahead and go in about 1/8 of an inch, and we'll kind of pull that on through. Now let's start another quill. Okay, go ahead and get another quill. Like I said, these need to be larger rather than small. Medium to large, I would say, for nice edging. Some people probably use tiny, but I like medium to large. Okay, now to start this next one, insert the barbed tip, pull up your thread that you just went in, go in that thread and under your material that you are wrapping around. See, I went under it. Okay. Make sure the black part is clear through. Now pull it real tight. Press while you're holding it with your left hand. Press those down. Now swing that tip to the back and go ahead and start another wrap. See, under, over. Now we're going to get the needle. Underneath your piece that you're wrapping, underneath the quill that you started. Careful not to sew that down on the back. Those need trimmed off soon. I'll leave those stick up. And once again, about 1/8 of an inch down, push to the back. Now take your time pulling through. That way if you pull a knot, you can untangle it before it's too tight to untangle. Now, I'll take one more wrap and then we're going to have to, I like to keep these real sharp barbs trimmed as I go. let's go ahead and take one more wrap. Under, over, try to keep them close. Let's go ahead and go that underneath the leather thong. Over top of your quill, push it to the back. And unless you have a really thin, evenly cut piece of leather, I don't recommend it, especially for beginners, because it's really hard to keep this so nice and evenly cut. I'm not good at it at all. Okay, at this point, I usually let no more than that many quills stick out to poke me at a time. Make sure your thread's out of the way. I have cut my thread before, and then you have to start over. But go ahead and trim those off closely, and they're not there to bother you. And there you have how to make an edging. And I think one of the real tricks is keep this thread pulled tight. That actually allows you to get this nice little diamond right here that gives it the real pretty appearance. Try to keep it really nice and close. That looks best. And there you have it, how to do a quilled edging.